but I think that society has a lot to do with, you know, looking at anybody sideways that doesn't fit in these social norms. So if you are, so my son is, he's definitely going cross me. Like he's like 5'10", 5'11" now.
Mm-hmm.
My height. Because of his height and because he's been so tall, the first thing people say is what?
Oh, what, you play ball? Or do you play ball?
Football is his thing.
Right.
Cross is his thing. Like he don't touch a ball. He don't.
Right.
And it's not like we haven't gotten out there and played. That's just not his thing. But guess what? He's gonna get all his life.
Yeah, all his life, especially if he crossed that 6 foot mark.
Guess what?
It's over.
He says no, I don't really play basketball. He's looked at sideways.
Well, he's looked at as, oh, you probably couldn't play.
Right. As
right.
It's not his thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Deep, man. A lot of layers to it.
It is, man. So I didn't have sons. I had all girls.
4
girls. 5 including my wife. 2 if you include the sister-in-laws that lived with me for a few years.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. But what I had was I have a mixture of girls. And my girls are all different energy levels, skill sets, athleticism, you know, all of that.
Asia, softball.
Right? We got softball, gymnastics, we got art, we got music. You know, he had taekwondo at one point. People would think about running track. So what I try to do is invest in them everything that I got growing up in sports, because I wanted to give them that physical discipline. I wanted to keep their minds occupied, right, and make sure that they're learning physical discipline, but also see, you know, where they thrive at. Now, talk about masculinity, toxic masculinity, even when you talk about having girls, or what our influence or impact is on the opposite sex, and what does that mean? I naturally brought my level of grit, determination, go-gettedness, all of that stuff to a 9-year-old girl when she was first starting to play. Yeah. Right? Because I remember when I was younger than her, playing on the dirt. I played football through high school and college, but I played baseball all the way up to high school. And so I'm like, all right, well, I got to go back to my first love since I have boys. I'm not going to suit my girls up like some dudes suit their girls up with football. That's just not what I was going to do. So I had to teach her my first love. But I went right back in my mind to the things that I used to do, the way I would practice, the way I would do all this stuff. And I kind of pushed her a little bit harder than I should have early on. Mm-hmm. Got to the point where she decided, you know what, like I'm good. It's like after like 2 seasons, I'm thinking, man, I bought the equipment, bro. I had the nets, had the balls, all of that. I'm like, she's going to distance. She's going to college. Now in Texas, you get started a lot earlier than back east where I'm from. So, you know, 5 years old, 6 years old, they already got you on track to getting scholarships and stuff. Right. I pushed her a little bit too hard. And then I realized that when she said she didn't want to continue playing, I had to ease up. So she took a year or so off, and I let her come back to me to tell me, all right, you know, I'm ready to play. And then I just had to throttle it down a little bit and, you know, set the expectations for her. So likewise, you talk about having a son. I've always told Diane, I said, you know what? So this is real. I don't know if I could have taken having a son who was not athletic, right? Or even worse, like who was junior from Blackish. I don't know if I could have had the son that was junior from Blackish. And you can see the animosity that his dad has for him because he's junior. He's nothing like him. He got no swag. And, you know, we know, you know, in the show, Dre's not the most athletic dude, but for me, it'd have been about athleticism. It'd have been about, you know, how you engage, how you move. And I would have been looking for my son to be a carbon copy of me. Yeah. And I realized this some years ago. I was like, you know, one of the reasons maybe I didn't have a son is because of what I just explained to you. I think maybe the Lord spared me and him because I would have learned the hard way, and he would have learned the hard way. And I'd have had a lot of undoing to do because I wasn't mature enough or understanding enough to know I'm not supposed to raise my son in my likeness and image, but in his heavenly Father's likeness and image. And I was still maturing past some stuff, so I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I wonder if God graced me with girls for a blessing for me and for the son that I never had.
Yeah, yeah. We'll never know, but I think that's man.
Not on this side.
Right.